VCU Rams. Who's ready for VCU basketball? I know I am. As most of you know, we are here today for Governor Gary Johnson. I'm just going to give a few opening remarks, and I'm going to give him a good introduction. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Nathan Cox. I'm an Army veteran. I spent 14 months in Baghdad from October of 2007 to December of 2008. I woke up or became politically aware during my tour, and when I came home, my eyes were finally open to the ever-expanding status of the police state and the surveillance state that has overrun this country. It was very, very concerning to me when I got home to have a first-hand perspective of how our employees, whom were once called peace officers, now being militarized and operating just like our soldiers do overseas. I immediately realized that the motto, protect and serve, was just in part a piece of our history. And now it's largely nothing more than policing for profit, perpetuating the prison industrial complex that has literally become a lucrative business, putting peaceful people in cages. Did you know that the U.S. has the highest incarceration rate in the world? Did you know that over 60% of the people whom are behind bars are peaceful and have not victimized anyone's life, liberty, or property? These are what we call victimless crimes. When the state arbitrarily makes up laws or statutes that are always unconstitutional and always criminalize the actions, words, or incompliance of individuals who have done no harm to nobody. That's why, after I was honorably discharged from the Army in the summer of 2009, I later founded Virginia Cop Block, which is a police accountability group. It's a state chapter of Cop Block, copblock.org. We've done some amazing things since then, since hitting the ground last year, and I encourage you all to check out our website, virginiacopblock.org. Our focus is holding the police accountable while striving to achieve transparency within the employer-employee relationship we have with these public servants. We also champion educating individuals on their civil liberties, most especially their civil rights, when encountered by the police.
Sorry.
We are strong advocates of filming or photographing the police, and this is not only for our protection, but is the only objective way to hold them accountable and transparent in any given situation. We look to abolish the double standards that seem to come along with getting a badge and a gun, because badges do not grant extra rights. So that's who I am and what I do. Again, I'm with Virginia Cop Block. My name is Nathan Cox. I'm also here representing VCU's Young Americans for Liberty, which is a libertarian-based, or a libertarian-rooted student organization here. VCU's Young Americans for Liberty has brought Libertarian Presidential candidate Gary Johnson here to VCU today to speak to y'all. Governor Johnson here is going to speak for roughly 20 to 25 minutes, and after he speaks, he's going to be taking some questions from you fine folks in the audience for a few minutes, and then he's going to continue on with a meet and greet, and he'll be here until about 1 o'clock. If you want any information about Gary or any information about joining the Libertarian Party, there's folks around the crowd that are handing out those respective pieces of information. So enough of the house cleaning, now to the meat of the introduction for Governor Gary Johnson. Let me enlighten you with a little bit of his history. Governor Gary Johnson was born in North Dakota in 1953. He is self-motivated from the start. He started his own business going through college at the University of New Mexico as a door-to-door handyman, and in 1976 he started Big J Enterprise, which has grown from a one-person company to become one of New Mexico's largest construction companies within the state. In 1995 he became the governor of New Mexico, and he vetoed a total of 200 out of 425 bills in just his first 6 months in office. At least a third of those vetoes were vetoing his own party. I think that says a lot. Governor Johnson, since 1999, has advocated for the decriminalization of marijuana use and has concentrated on harm reduction measures for all other illegal drugs.
Yeah.
He compared attempts to enforce the nation's drug laws with the disastrous failed attempt at alcohol prohibition. He suggests that the drug abuse should be treated as a health issue and not a criminal issue.
Woo! Yeah.
According to a profile of Governor Johnson in the National Review, during his tenure, quote, he vetoed more bills than the other 49 governors combined. 724 in total, 1/3 of which had been introduced by, again, his own party. Some other stuff you might not know about Governor Johnson is he's an avid triathlete who bikes extensively. During his time in office, he completed several triathlons, marathons, and bike races. He competed 3 times in a celebrity invitee event at the Ironman World Champion in Hawaii. He ran for 30 consecutive hours, 100 miles once in the Rocky Mountains. And on March 30th, 2003, he reached the peak of Mount Everest.
Yeah.
Despite having frostbite on his toes. He also climbed the 3 most highest peaks of Europe, North America, and Africa respectively. On October 12, 2005, Mr. Johnson was involved in a near-fatal paragliding accident when his wing got caught in a tree and he fell approximately 50 feet to the ground. Mr. Johnson suffered multiple bone fractures, including a burst fracture to his vertebrae, a broken rib, a broken knee, and he used medical marijuana for the pain for the 3 years to control it.
Yeah.
Wrapping things up, just as Governor Johnson brought the business approach, what he calls the cost-benefit ratio, into his governorship, he will do the same as president. Both Republican and Democrats have run this country into now more than a $16 trillion debt grave. Both Republicans and Democrats have wildly grown government beyond control and accountability. Both Republicans and Democrats have continued to use U.S. troops beyond exhaustion in perpetual war, and unconstitutional wars at that. Ladies and gentlemen, students and professionals, contemplate what destruction both major parties, the Republicans and Democrats, have done to this country, and more importantly, to the free society we are supposed to live in. Now listen for yourself as Governor Gary Johnson will explain for himself why he is the only legitimate choice for president. Folks, give a warm welcome to Governor Gary Johnson.